A man is living happily with his family when a girl who is also his assistant becomes obsessed with him. Well, nothing good comes out of this kind of obsession. Let's dive into it and see what happens. Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we'll be going through the 2009 thriller film Obsessed. It's time to recall. Let's get started. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie starts with a family moving into their new home. It's a family of three: Derek, his wife Sharon, and their 2-year-old son Kyle. While the couple is looking around the house, the two start to get romantic and end up having sex in their new house. After that, Sharon gets busy with the movers and Derek drives to his office. Upon getting to his office, he sees a blonde girl in the elevator. Everyone else in the elevator gets off and now these two remain. The two check each other out while the other is not looking. The way she looks at Derek, it seems like she already has a thing for him. She's carrying a stack of files. An idea strikes her, and there go all the files to the floor. When Derek quickly helps her pick up the files, their hands touch, which makes Derek a little uncomfortable. However, the girl gives him a smile. The two get off the same floor and Derek asks her whom she is here to see. The girl says Derek Charles. He jokingly asks her to be careful because Derek is a very bad guy. She drops off the files with Derek's assistant. Derek is a successful asset manager with a big firm. When Derek is leaving the office at the end of the day, he again sees the girl on her desk and says hello. The girl introduces herself as Lisa Sheridan. When he gets out of there, she looks at his computer screen and turns out she's already checking out his profile. The next day, when Derek comes to the office, he finds Lisa sitting at the desk of Derek's assistant Patrick. Derek is a little shocked to see her there, so he asks her where is Patrick. Lisa tells him that Patrick has stomach flu. Derek tells her about a bunch of things he needs to do. It turns out she's already taken care of most of the things Derek mentions. Lisa is a little creepy, but she turns out to be very helpful and a valuable assistant. She is so creepy that she even listens in on Derek and his wife's phone calls. Derek is home and he's snuggling with his wife. The two are talking when Sharon asks him about a call of hers Derek did not return. He tells her that he did not even get the message. He then tells her that his new assistant misunderstood the message and gave him the wrong name. Sharon is not comfortable with him having a female assistant. She asks him about Patrick and Derek tells her that he is sick, so Lisa's covering for him. Sharon gets pissed off and asks her to get rid of the female assistant because the two had agreed that Derek is not going to have a female assistant. The next day, when Derek comes to his office, he sees that Lisa is not there. The man has a sigh of relief until he sees her at the desk of Marge, who is Joe's assistant. On the other hand, Patrick and Lisa seem to be getting closer as the two already have a nice bonding. The next day at work, Derek walks into the break room and there he sees Lisa, who is crying. He sits there and asks her what got her down. The girl tells him that she's recently been dumped and now she has started to doubt herself. Self-deprecating, she tells Derek that she thinks something is wrong with her. Derek talks to her, telling her that there is nothing wrong with her. He tells her that she is a smart and beautiful woman, and if he was single, he cuts himself off, and the next thing, he's patting her arm, telling her that everything is going to be okay. As Derek is about to leave, Ben walks in and looks at the two of them, thinking something is going on between these two. Then there is a Christmas party at the office. However, no spouses are allowed. Derek is really thrilled at the party where Derek dances a little with Marge until Lisa gets there and cuts in. Derek and Lisa dance for a while, and then Derek walks away, heading to the men's room. Lisa follows him there and brushes his head from behind with leaves. The moment he turns towards her, she is all over him. She tries to seduce him. He keeps asking her to stop, but she doesn't. Derek finally gets out of the room. Derek then leaves the party right away. At night, when he's in bed with his wife, she asks him if anything interesting happened at the party. He says nothing of the sort happened and then goes to sleep. The next day, when he gets to his office, he shares the events of last night with Ben and asks him to keep it to himself. He tells Ben that he is going to HR to get rid of this girl, and Ben asks him to be careful because it could very much come back to bite him in the ass, and it very much happens in cases like this. Derek, however, still goes to HR. There, he sees the HR manager, Hank, and tells him that he is there to talk to him about Lisa. Hank tells Derek that the girl just quit the job. Getting to hear this really relieves Derek. That evening, when he is about to leave the office, he is sitting in the car about to fasten his seatbelt in the parking lot when Lisa gets into the car wearing a coat. As she gets into the car, she opens up the coat to reveal that the only thing she's wearing underneath is a sexy bra and panty outfit. Lisa tells him that it is going to be okay now because they no longer work together, so the danger of screwing up their jobs is not there anymore, even if they get involved. This is how obsessed she has become with Derek. She just quit her job so that she could be with him without having the workplace problem. Derek gets pissed off and asks her to get out of his car. Well, if only she obeyed him like this, he ends up pushing her out of the car and drives away while she stands in the parking lot. Derek decides he is going to tell everything to Sharon right away. Upon getting home, he sees his wife and suspects something's wrong as she's sitting with a glass of wine in her hand and is visibly sad. He asks her what's wrong and she tells him that she just spent the last hour and a half talking with her sister, who is heartbroken because her husband is having an affair and going to leave her. After hearing this, he ends up deciding that he is not going to tell her about Lisa. Then comes the New Year's. After the New Year's Eve party, Derek and Sharon return home and Derek receives an email. Derek looks at his computer screen and ignores it. However, when Sharon goes to the bathroom, he opens the email and it turns out to be an inappropriate picture of Lisa. The next day, he's at work when he emails Lisa asking her to simply leave him alone. She, however, responds with an emoji that winks at Derek. A few days later, while Sharon is helping Derek pack to go on a work retreat, she tells him to behave while he is away. At the retreat, the waitress brings Derek a drink, telling him that this is from the woman at the bar. As Derek turns to see, he sees Lisa approaching him. This act of Lisa does not really sit well with Derek, who tells her to get out of there, further adding that nothing is ever going to happen between them. Derek then receives a call, and as he turns to answer the phone, Lisa mixes something in his drink. Later that night, Ben and Derek are walking down the hall. Derek is drunk and his vision is also blurry. Derek goes into his room and Ben reminds him that they have a meeting at 9. As he gets into the room, Derek throws himself into bed right away. As he turns over, he sees Lisa hovering over him. She gets into bed with him. He is too drunk and drugged to fight her off, and now she starts having her way with him as she kisses and massages him, and then he passes out. The next morning, when he wakes up, he is still hungover. He looks at the time and sees that he is already late. He quickly gets up and makes it to the meeting by 10:15. The meeting goes on, and around 2 hours later, the meeting is still going on when Derek is told that his wife is waiting for him in the lobby. Derek excuses himself and goes out. Well, it's Lisa. This time, Derek gets really angry. Lisa starts rambling, telling him that he wants her. She tells him about how he said if he were single, they could have been together. Derek makes it abundantly clear to her that it is never going to be anything between them and asks her to leave him alone. After that, he goes back to the meeting. That night, when Derek comes to his room, he finds Lisa in his bed. Derek then finds an empty pill bottle and sees that the girl is unconscious. He right away calls 911, and the next thing we see, they are in a hospital, and Lisa is being taken to the emergency room as Derek tells Ben that he is going to explain it all later. That night, Sharon calls Ben as she is worried because she has not been able to get in touch with Derek. Ben asks her to call the hospital. Sharon gets worried and right away goes to the hospital, where she is relieved to see that Derek is all right. Then the doctor comes to Derek and asks him why Lisa overdosed in his bed, and this is where Sharon loses it. Lisa even gave Derek as her emergency contact. They drive back home, and Sharon accuses Derek of sleeping with Lisa, which Derek denies. He then tells Sharon all of the things Lisa has been doing and how she has been obsessed with him for a long time. Sharon even gets angrier, asking why she was not told before when it all happened. She tells him that they vowed to always tell each other everything. Derek tries to apologize, but she kicks him out of the house. A detective walks into Lisa's hospital room and questions her about her relationship with Derek. She tells her that Derek is going to divorce Sharon and that they are going to be together. Lisa asks if Derek is there to see her, but the detective tells her that Derek does not want to see her. Lisa then asks the detective why did Derek send her flowers. The detective goes on to ask Derek about the flowers, who tells her that Lisa must have taken his credit card information and sent herself the flowers to show that Derek cares for her. The detective tells Derek about a journal Lisa wrote in which everything romantic between Derek and Lisa has been mentioned. Derek says that these are all lies as nothing romantic ever happened between them. He then tells the detective that Lisa is obsessed with him and that she has gone crazy. He's worried about what she might do next. The detective tells him that he does need to worry because Lisa has moved to San Francisco. We then see Derek in his apartment playing with his son while Sharon is alone in a room. They've been living apart for a few months now. The family is broken as a result of a crazy girl's obsession. One day, it's Derek's birthday, and he asks Sharon if she can be with him to celebrate his birthday. Sharon agrees and gets something as a present for Derek, thinking that she will give it to him, seeing how the evening goes. At the dinner, they decide to get back together, and Sharon gives him the house key as a birthday gift. In the meantime, Lisa comes to their house and kidnaps Kyle, telling the babysitter that she is a friend of Sharon. When they get home, the babysitter tells them that their friend stopped by. They both go upstairs and find that Kyle is not there. Derek goes out and finds Kyle in his car with a huge lipstick kiss on his forehead. At the hospital, the doctor tells them that the baby is fine. The detective asks Derek if they need police protection, and Derek asks if they should buy a gun. He ends up installing a security system. The next day, Lisa calls Patrick and tells him that Derek is divorcing Sharon. Patrick does not believe her and tells her that the couple is going to visit Sharon's parents. He tells her that Kyle is with Sharon's sister. Back at the house, Shannon prepares to leave for the weekend. She gets in her car and calls Derek, telling him that she is heading out. She then remembers that she did not turn on the security system. Back at their house, Lisa breaks in, goes to their bedroom, and takes off her clothes while she opens a bottle of champagne. Sharon hears the bottle opening and she goes upstairs and finds Lisa in their bed. The two girls get into a physical confrontation, and Sharon then receives a call from Derek and tells him that Lisa is in their house and she is gonna have to call him back. The two girls then get into a fight. The fight becomes really brutal as they kick, slap, and tumble downstairs. Sharon ends up going into the attic. She dares Lisa to come and get her. Lisa moves forward to attack her, but falls onto a weak portion of flooring and falls through it. Sharon feels guilty and tries to give her a hand to pull her up, but the crazy girl starts pulling Sharon down with her. Sharon then lets go of her and she falls through a table. She's not dead yet. She tries to get up with her eyes wide open when the chandelier on the roof suddenly falls right over Lisa, killing her at that very moment. Sharon then walks out and finds the detective asking her what happened. Sharon says, "You know what happened," and then goes into Derek's arms. The girl's obsession ends up being the cause of her disgraceful death. This is where the movie ends. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.